All right, guys, in this video, we're going to talk about credit scores. So when you become an adult, you're going to start to hopefully develop credit. And credit or having a credit score or a good credit score means that you have responsibly borrowed money from banks and other institutions and paid it back responsibly. And the more you're responsible you are, the better, credit score you have. The more unresponsible you are, the worse credit score you would have. Therefore, you probably wouldn't be able to actually borrow money in the future. So, credit score is just based on, or a report, on a person's credit history. And it pretty much gives you a grade of how responsible you've been with money in the past. Now, when a credit score is developed, it looks at a person's debt. How much money do you owe people? Do you have a mortgage? Do you own a house? Do you have any car loans, student loans, credit card loans, etc.? How many credit cards do you have? Do you have 100 credit cards? If you do, your credit score is probably not going to be good. Do you have 3 or 4 credit cards, but you use them responsibly? Then you might have a good credit score. And then it comes down to how many loans have you actually asked for? Are you going to 8 different banks every weekend asking for loans and seeing what kind of interest rates you can get? Well, then that's going to affect your credit score. So we have a credit score range. Poor, the lower the score, the worse it is. The better or higher the score, the more excellent your credit score is. Every adult really, really wants to have a score between 720 and 850 because the better your credit score is, the lower interest rates banks will be willing to offer you because you're responsible. And if you remember that other video that you've watched on how to find interest rates, you really want a lower interest rate because the higher it is, the more money you're going to have to pay back to the bank. Now, if you're down here in the red, chances are you're not going to even be able to find a bank who's going to give you a loan. But that's going to be up to the bank's discretion. So let's talk about how to read a credit score. So this is a sample credit score. This is someone's credit score as of March 10th, 2016. So this is a little bit old. But at that time, they had a credit score of 734, which is excellent. This person makes me think that they're really responsible with money, and I might be willing to give them a loan if I was a bank. Now, they have 5 grades, and this is just like school grades. A is the best, F is the worst. And the first grade is based on payment history. Now, this means do you make your payments on time? So if you have a student loan, every month, do you pay the payment for your student loan? Do you have a car loan? Do you make that monthly payment on your car loan every month? If you do, you would have an A. Now, this person has a B. So if you reread these details for the payment history, it says they missed a payment in the last 24 months. Now, if you think about this, they missed a payment in the last 2 years. And yet, that's going to bring down that mark, which is probably why this credit score isn't higher. Now, the next grade is based on credit usage, which means how much do you spend of the credit you have. For example, you might have a credit card that says you can spend $1,000 on it every single month. Now, what's called maxing out your credit card means that you're going to put $1,000 on that credit card every single month. Versus if you're allowed to put $1,000 on it every month, but maybe only pay or put $100 on it, then you're not using that much of your credit. So this person has an A, which means they're probably not putting much on their credit cards every single month, or they're putting a very low percentage of what they could put on their credit cards. Now, if somebody had a low grade here, that probably means they're maxing them out. They're spending as much money on those credit cards as they possibly can every single month. Now, this next grade is based on the credit age. And the age of credit just means how long have you had credit? How long have you had a credit card? How long have you had a loan maybe? And how long have you been responsibly paying it off? This person has an A, which makes me think that they've had credit open for quite a while. And not only have they had credit open for a while, but they've been paying their loans off every month. Now, this next grade, this person has a D. So this category is all about the different types of credit or accounts that they have. So you might have a mortgage, a car payment, you might have student loans, but then you could also open up 50 credit cards. The more credit cards you have open and the more accounts that you have open where you're borrowing money, the lower this grade. So this makes me think that this person opens up credit cards like every other month. Now, if this person had an A, they might only have, 3 or 4 credit cards that they use and that they have open. So the less credit you have open, the better. Now, the last but not least is about the number of inquiries you have, which means if you go to a bank and you say, I would like a loan, they have to run your credit and look at a credit score like this. Now, the more you do that, the lower this grade would be. Since this person has an A, it makes me think they're not going to bank institutions asking for car loans or student loans or any type of loans very often. Now, if you look over here, they have a debt analysis. The total debt balance is $2. This person only owes $2. That's not a lot of money. They have a monthly payment of $2. They probably only have one more payment of $2, in fact, because that's all they owe. Now, this debt to income ratio means that they have 0%. They really don't owe a lot of money compared to what they make. Income is the money you make. Now, you want this percent to be low. The lower it is, it means the amount of debt you have is not very big compared to how much money you actually make a month. If this was like 100%, that would mean that you're borrowing as much money as you make. And you don't want to have a debt that matches the amount you make because you're not going to ever be able to really pay it off. So I hope you really kind of took your time to do this. If you need to go back and replay it, please feel free. But what you're going to be doing coming up is you're going to be looking at two people's credit scores. And you're going to not only want to look at this number, but you're going to want to look at these different categories: their payment history, their credit usage, the credit age, how long have they been paying bills, the different types of credit cards and accounts that they have open, and the number of inquiries. You also want to take into consideration these numbers over here. If you have somebody with a really good credit score but has $100,000 in debt, you want to kind of look at what that might be compared to what they make. Remember, the lower this percent is, the better. So if you need to rewatch this, if not, you're going to go and do exactly what a loan officer would do and start to look to see if somebody would be worthy of getting a loan from your bank. Hope you found this helpful.